Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a beautiful 10th November, 2024. Coming to the Crusty Up podcast, episode 315, Remembrance and Rage. Yes, my reflection on my time in the military and why Remembrance Day is so important. And, of course, more criticism to our buffoonery of our federal government and some of the stupid decisions they have made in the past week. Tisk, tisk, tisk. All that and more. Come at the show, ladies and gentlemen. Please stick around. Listener review discretion is advised because I will swear, smoke a cigarette, make some funny faces, and make fun of the idiocy we call our government. Stick around.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me. Yes, sir. There is no racial bigotry here. Here you are all equally worthy.
From Western Canada, this is the Crusty Canuck podcast, a Canadian veteran's point of view on political, social, economic issues and life. Here's Crusty.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. How are you? It's been a while since we last talked. I'm your host, Crusty Canuck. I know I've been kind of tardy the past few days, but just a reminder too, if you like and hear what you see, please click like, subscribe, share this podcast all over your social media platforms, and do not be shy, ladies and gentlemen. I've been really working a hell of a lot of hours the past little while, so I have been detained, needless to say, with my work schedule and trying to make ends meet based on the way things are going in this country right now and our bills and some little debt that I do have. I just been finding it really difficult to keep things afloat here too. So just like I say, if you like and hear to see, click like, subscribe, share, and comment, please. Every little thumbs up and comment helps the algorithm, helps us Canucks to get our words out there. I notice my microphone keeps shifting here. I've been messing around with it for a while. And needless to say, I am persevering. So if I got to hold it, I hold it. Anyhow, as the title card says, heroes and zeros remembering. So tomorrow's Remembrance Day, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm not going to sit and put any more features. I'm not going to put any more videos up for this episode. I'm just going to keep things pretty simple and just reflect on my time in the military and why Remembrance Day is so important. And of course, criticizing the federal government as we speak. It wouldn't be a proper podcast if I didn't, criticize the government at least once or twice and promote some of their idiocy. This week, I guess Sackville, Nova Scotia, or Sackville Heights Secondary School put it out that they didn't want any veterans there in uniform. Right now, they kind of doubled back and changed their minds because there was an outrage for that too. It just goes to show that there's still facets in this country that don't appreciate the veteran. And prior to my departure from the military, prior to a couple of promotions there, I did some speaking engagements at my brother-in-law's school and told kids some stories and what I did and what it's like being in the military. And I gave them a little display on what we wear, i.e. rucksack and our tactical vest and everything too. Gave them insight and what it's like being a soldier. And when I reflect on that, it reminds me of some real good times and it reminds me of some bad times. However, that's par for service. That's par for course. That's what you do. And this Remembrance Day really is no different than other than my own personal reflections, my own personal doubts, what ifs, what have you, and how I'm thankful that I survived, and how I do remember some of the men and women that I served with, and some of those lads that aren't with us today. Some of the revelations that I woken up to, and some hard truths we all had to swallow. And when you look at the state of the world right now in regards to what's happening in Europe and what might be happening with Taiwan and China and what just might be happening in general, we still have to take time and recognize and appreciate those who fell before us, those who are serving right now, who are willing to commit the ultimate sacrifice in the name of this country and in the name of our friends down south, in the name of our friends across the Atlantic. and in the name of what's right for you and your families. So, before I get sentimental here, I just want to know that tomorrow is a special day for a lot of us, especially a lot of us Canucks. And regardless of the political drama that has been plaguing our country the past 10 years, and especially plaguing our military, stand on guard for thee. Stand up for what's right. Stand up for what's good for you and your families. Stand up what's right for freedom. And I'm not talking freedom as in some cheesy 80s patriotic TV movie. I'm talking about what's good for you, to all of you out there. The freedom to go out and speak and trade, to go out and dance and be merry, to go out and have fun with your loved ones, no matter who you love, no matter what you love. Right? And every November 11th, I get a little emotional and I remember things, and things come back in little pockets, little blurps. As you know, ladies and gentlemen, I do suffer from PTSD. I was diagnosed back in 2017 and I was medically released from the military in 2018. So I gave it a good solid 20 years. And sometimes things come back and hit you like a ton of shit. And I have coping mechanisms and I have ways to deal with certain traumas, and I have ways to live and overcome. Without sounding like Clint Eastwood movie, I have overcame and I've adapted, and I've done my best to help some others who have reached out to me, and I've talked to them and things I've recommended to them. So this Remembrance Day, think about the individuals that have committed the sacrifice. And I personally don't care if you believe in this or believe in that, as long as you believe in yourself and you believe what's around you. Always remember, too, there's people that have died for that. And regardless of how political you may be or how political you may not be, there are people that have come before us who have laid down their lives. And there are people that I served with who laid down their lives. And some of us aren't grateful enough. So if you're at a cenotaph tomorrow, if you're at any kind of place of worship, just let us remember those men and women that signed the dotted line or signed the check, and they did something well beyond some of these generations' understanding. I'll be back after this.
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Crusty Canuck Podcast. Once again, episode 315, Remembrance and Rage. So like I said, without getting sentimental, I spent some time in Afghanistan, saw action in Afghanistan. There's a few lads that I've served with over the years who saw a hell of a lot more than I did, some more than they did, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not going to have a pissing contest and who did more or who saw more. Let's just say I saw enough. I saw enough, and I don't want to see any more. So as I remember my fallen comrades, I am raging because we have a government in this country that just doesn't give a shit. Like I said about that high school, they basically stood back and let the veterans wear their uniforms. It was national news, and it's kind of insulting. So if any educators are watching right now or listening to this podcast, smarten the fuck up. Okay? And don't hand the excuses about inclusion or comfort or offense to any in regards to students or other faculty members in any administrative conglomerate, okay, or any administrative capacity. Because when you tell a veteran he can't wear his uniform on a day of remembrance, that's like telling a gay person they can't wave the pride flag during Pride Week. You know what I mean? That's like telling someone like me I can't have this on my head or have it on my wall. Okay. So any of those administrators there who are behind people that make these decisions, smarten the fuck up. You don't have to agree with it. You don't have to like it, but it's a bitter reality that some of these men and women have gone through, something you'll never comprehend. Okay. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind too when you're addressing firefighters and police officers and paramedics and ER specialists, because you'd be surprised to see how many of those individuals spent some time in uniform as well. So something to think about, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. I'm not going to totally rage here during this podcast. Once again, my apologies for not keeping you all posted on things. Just my wife and I are having a difficult time trying to keep things afloat. And so many other Canadians out there too, in this name of democracy and fairness and all this other garbage that the federal government wants to ram down our throats. And I'm just not impressed, and neither should you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not impressed at all with some of the BS that our federal government has been ramming down our throats, right? Especially this week in light of certain individuals that have been named by that reporter. 4 individuals, association with David Eby out of BC, and other associations and other just failures to let us know who's been screwing the pooch, right? Recently, it was just discovered, according to the Canadian Taxpayers Federation, that $54 million is being sent to Africa because Justin Trudeau thinks it's Canada's duty to help Africa out. Now, I'm not against helping little guys out that need it, but we have roughly 2 million people that have relied on food banks in this country. And we have a federal government giving away $54 million. So what's that tell you? Right? Yeah, the same old regurgitation since 2015. And we have sitting MPs that would sooner wait out the storm to collect their pensions rather than do the honorable thing instead of actually looking after people in this country. Right? So that tells you a hell of a lot, ladies and gentlemen. So this Remembrance Day, when you lay down a poppy or you give 2 minutes of silence at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, think about the idiocy and think about the sham. Think about the real sham that is our federal government. Now, let's say they call an election in the next month. Let's say if something changes and there's an actual proper non-confidence vote and we try to get rid of the prime minister, and let's say election happens, will Poilievre do a better job? Will he? You know? You look around your mainstream news sources and you find half of these polls saying, oh, there's nothing wrong. Canadians want this. Canadians want that. And yet, how many Canadians are out there screaming? I know a few. How many Canadians are out there really standing strong against this government? We tried that back in 22. And some good people were prosecuted and put in jail because someone had to save face, or some people had to save face. Right? Yeah, you look in the streets in this country right now, you've got people that are pro this and pro that, and pro Khalistan and pro Sikh, and then pro Palestine and pro Israel. And yet those individuals can protest and cause all the damages they want. Yet when Canadians stand up and fight for something that's beneficial to the whole country, the government disenfranchises them all. So is that worth fighting for, ladies and gentlemen? I sometimes think about a regret, if I have any, in regards to, was my time worth it? Because we have an ungrateful leadership in this country. And as far as I'm concerned, a lot of the people sitting in Ottawa right now really don't give a royal fuck. There, I said the F word. Fuck, fuckity, fuck. About vets, about their constituents, and about this country. There's a lot of perks in the MP's pay packet. A lot of perks. A lot of perks in the minister's packets. And of course, quite a few perks for our beloved prime minister's little purse, right? And it's getting harder and harder every day to tolerate the nonsense, the BS every time you turn on the mainstream media, or even when you look at independent media, some of the facts and figures they prove to us too. I'm not condemning those individuals. No, they do a great job. But you keep seeing mainstream media towing the line just in case there's more government incentives, government perks coming their way, taxpayer money. Money that I've paid into, my wife has paid into, my parents have paid into, my sisters. Now my nieces and nephews in the workforce, now they're paying into the whole thing too to pay off this national debt. Now, was it worth that idea of democracy, their idea of democracy, that we keep working and they keep taking? Right? Who knows? Time will tell. As I sit and I remember things, and as I sit and I ponder, what's next? I don't think they can call an election soon enough, and I think it's time. I think it's time to turn the page and get somebody new in charge.
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Crusty Canuck Podcast. I'm your host, Crusty Canuck. And if you like and hear you see, please don't forget to click like, subscribe, and share this content only via social media platforms. Do not be shy. If you give me a thumbs up, comment once you see this debuted on the Rumble and on the Tube too. Please get the algorithm going. Help us Canucks get our words out there so we can beat the odds when it comes to Bill C-63, ladies and gentlemen, and not let these feds worry about hate speech. And let's keep freedom of expression and freedom of speech alive and well. Now, Donald Trump is now the U.S. president again. Donald Trump won the election fair and square. Of course, you can all see the outrage. Go to the libs of TikTok there on the Twitter channel, and you get to see some of these unique individuals screaming the high heavens about how they're so disappointed how things are going, right? And I feel bad for my American friends too, because they're just like us. They work their asses off. They pay their taxes, show pride in their nation, and don't treat people like crap. I could probably just hear all the SJWs cringing right now because, I'm saying such harsh words. That's the problem. All these social justice warriors grew up in a generation where you get a trophy just for showing up, right? And you smile nice to get yourself a little ribbon, right? There's an example of the ungrateful right there too. There's an example of the lack of gratitude and dedication and intestinal fortitude that I spoke of earlier. Right? So you can sit there and cry about the cows not coming home. What's in store for Canada because Donald Trump? Who knows? More tariffs for us? Or is it going to give the powers that be some incentive to smarten the fuck up? Who knows? But I'm just happy that my American friends are going to see some real progress in the next coming months, where things will be a little more sensible, where I think Americans will get ahead. And I also think that Canadians need to get ahead too. We've had enough of this wokeisms. We had enough of this bullshit. We've had enough of this scapegoating and gaslighting. What was that communist thing? Accuse your enemies of what they accuse you of. That's so much of the liberal playbook, isn't it? Right? But I'm not going to sit and dwell and worry about what Justin Trudeau says. His days are numbered, right? His policies, his politics, his bias, his favoritism, his bullshit is coming down as we speak, and people aren't buying it anymore. Take a look at some new footage, if you can, ladies and gentlemen, in your own time, where you see Krista Freeland talking about how she felt about Trump, and you can see her twitching, and kind of uncomfortable, and it's almost like she has to pee or something. It's quite pathetic to see how she rolls and how she carries on. But needless to say, I think the Liberal government's days are numbered, ladies and gentlemen. But I'm not going to dwell into that too much. I just want to come back and have a good episode and tell you all that I'm alive and well. Everything's good. And I'm not going to reflect too much in this episode. It'll be kind of short tonight. But I trust that you're all going to use your good judgment in the next few months. Try to keep a level head regardless of how you personally feel about the new U.S. president and how you feel about what's going on here too. Because from personal experience, the last thing we want is violence. But my best guess is that something is going to be happening in the next little while, and we should be ready for it and should be prepared for it. So, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I've been Crusty Canuck on this beautiful 10th of November, Remembrance Weekend. Remember our fallen, respect our fallen, and respect those who have gone before us and committed the ultimate sacrifice. Like I said, I did 20 years in the Canadian Forces. Canadian Army, just a regular infantry grunt. And met some good people, have some good friends, and buried a few of those lads. And I will be remembering very well tomorrow, and so should you. But like I said, do what you can, help each other in these trying times. Keep a level head. Let the rage, let the rage be there, but try to be calm, cool, and collected, and stand for what is right, and always stand on guard for thee, ladies and gentlemen. I'll try to get an episode up Tuesday if I can. If not, then I will try again throughout the week to keep you all informed and posted. Check out my community page on here in the tube and on my Facebook page too, and maybe Instagram as well. I'll keep you all informed, ladies and gentlemen. And like I always say, humanity and merit wins the day. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me. Yes, sir. There is no racial bigotry here. Here you are all equally worthy.
This has been another episode of the Crusty Canuck podcast. Stay sane and thank you for listening. From Western Canada, this is the Crusty Canuck podcast.
I will never forget. Good journey, brothers and sisters who heard, understood, acknowledged.